Hello friends, this is Kailin. I'm sorry that I cannot join you guys this afternoon because of parenting duties, but I do want to show my support, especially during this time of crisis and isolation. I think it's super important for us to consciously be there for each other and support each other and look out for each other. So here's a little tune that I wrote. It's called Guardian Spirits for Kampong Earth. It's a song about community, a song about compassion, about kindness, about being together. It's about being one.
So hello, my name is Jonathan Goh. So I'm a busker and slash circus artist from Singapore. I also run the Buskers Association in Singapore.
Yes.
Nicholas?
No, I'm just waving to Jonathan actually. But okay, I can say. Hi, my name is Nicholas Chee. I'm a executive producer. I also run Sinema.sg, and I unfortunately am the one who started the Facebook COVID group
Why unfortunate?
Unfortunately.
because it's been taking up so much of my time. But the plus thing is, I think I've met so many new people that I don't think in the last 8 weeks that I could have met over the last 20 years. So it's actually a blessing in disguise.
Yeah.
Yes.
MarcS?
Oh, hi, I'm MarcS. Marzipan is actually not my part of my name, but like it's a street name that most dancers know me by. So actually, me and my wife, we are dance artists, so we kind of like do everything in the spectrum of dance lah. So basically, we choreograph, dance, perform, and teach, and anything else that needs to move.
Eugene.
Oh,
Hello.
Oh.
Hey, sorry.
hi.
Hi.
Hello.
How come it's guest?
Yeah. Don't know.
Because you never put his name when he enters.
Oh,
Oh, no.
I thought it's a special privileges,
Hey, how do I put my name?
Eugene, can you hear us?
Sorry?
Eugene?
Sorry, who?
Ah,
Yeah, I
okay.
can hear you guys.
Would you like to introduce yourself?
Sure. Hello, my name is Eugene, and I'm currently doing physical theater. Currently taking classes at Lecoq, which is a school in Paris, France. He's well known for his approach to clowning via the neutral mask. And currently, I have COVID-19, and I've been this day 10 in isolation ward. So I can speak from the side of things.
Oh
Sorry,
man.
guys.
How are you feeling?
Yeah, how are you feeling?
I'm feeling good. The first week was really difficult because the COVID took away my oxygen, and so there was I see a lot of black spots, and my brain is definitely working at half capacity. But right now I'm recovering. They put me on a dosage of hydroxychloroquine, which is a drug that they use for malaria, and they are trial testing it for COVID-19. It's not completely a cure yet, but it seems to be working fine. Hi, yeah, Shah, you have a question?
Okay, sorry to interrupt you guys. My phone is very odd. It's everything stuttering. So I am going to put this down and see whether I can find another device. If not, I'm just going to use my desktop without the camera. Sorry, this is just weird because I can't hear anything.
Sure.
Yeah, I hear you guys talking, but
Yeah,
it's
go
just
for it.
Okay,
I see.
I'll be back.
Okay.
I'll be back. Okay.
Cool. Yeah, so that was my introduction. Who's next?
Okay. Renee?
Hi. Hi, I'm Renee. I'm from theatre. I act and direct and teach. I'm a theatre practitioner. Yeah, that's it. I also do applied theatre. If you're not familiar with it, applied theatre, some of the forms that you might see are forum theatre or theatre in education or playback theatre. So basically using theatrical or drama elements for personal or social change. Yeah. Thank you.
Ragha?
Hi guys, my name is Ragha. I'm a Indian classical flautist. I play with the band Ragha Jazz and a few other groups. And yes, I'm very happy to meet all of you guys today.
Same here.
Hi.
Hello.
Shah?
Hi, I'm so sorry. I think it's because my bets, the bets is only at 10%. That's why it was like stuttering. Yeah. So I'm just gonna let it charge a bit, and then after that I'll call you back in. Ayo, technology. Yeah. So okay, hi, my name is Shah. I'm so sorry for all the kerfuffle. During the daytime, I'm a researcher practitioner. I'm a Nanyang research scholar at Nanyang Technological University. So one of the My PhD dissertation was on the relationships between the state and arts practitioners in Singapore, and basically how how arts practitioners imagine our relationship with the state kind of informs us of how we allow ourselves and the arts to be governed in Singapore. It's a it was quite an amazing journey lah. In doing the research. So in my free time, I try to do my best to do a bit of advocacy work, a bit of research work also. I am with Sin and we do climate change in the arts.
And
And
Renee
we
also.
yeah. Oh yeah, Renee also. Sorry. Hi. Yeah. And on top of that, also as and when Elvin needs me, and I also help him with like either with data collation or data analysis lah. Do actually have a full-time job. I will have my next full-time job will be a research fellow at the School of Medicine in NTU. So yeah. So that's on the weekends. I am artistic director of a local community choir, and we are just going to apply ourselves as a charity this year. Yeah, that's me.
Okay. Hello, I'm Sin from Bonfire Circus, social circus group. And that's it also. Okay, Ragha, just to let you know, basically, if any one of us choose to speak, we just raise our hand. Okay?
Okay. What's that red?
That one is good.
Don't press.
Technically, we cannot see Shah now, you know.
Oh yeah, that's right.
I'll wait for everyone to say, then I say something.
You must do this in the chat, you know, like this.
Oh, how do you do that?
Oh,
how do you do that?
There's a chat
The
panel.
chat.
Yeah, then there's
Oh,
oh my god.
so clever. Ayo. Okay.
Okay. Right.
Party. Yeah.
Should we start? Maybe Jonathan, maybe you want to share a bit about how the current situation has affected you as a freelancer, practicing artist.
Right. Okay, so I think like it's the same for everybody. All my gigs are cancelled. So like when the virus first came into Singapore, like I think January, everyone was on a like yellow amber alert already. They were like prepared to get the events cancelled, maybe cancelled lah. But then a week later, when like more cases came up, suddenly like within that week, every event organizer that I had, right, they called me and said, "We got no choice, but we got to cancel. Hope you understand lah." So like by then, like I was on the panic mode because I just spent on a lot of stuff and like I left a little bit of savings. Then like thankfully I had this Grab account lah. So currently I'm doing a Grab food to go through with like life lah. Yeah. So this is currently what's the situation like. I don't really have any gigs at all because of the current virus. And then about I think about a week ago, after like they shut down all entertainment venue, National Arts Council actually shut down busking also because of the current situation lah. So by then, like until like today, right, I don't have busking to rely on anymore because like after the event's cancellation, I still had busking to like sustain a bit of my income lah. But then by last week, like it was shut down. I mean, like a few weeks ago, actually, it was really quite hard to bus because nobody's in the street. So like I was really considering like stopping busking for the moment lah. But then like once they shut it down, it was totally okay, no go at all. Yeah, so now I'm just doing Grab food only.
Nicholas, yeah.
Okay, question for Jonathan. Sorry, because busking, I understand, is quite generic, right? So what is your specialization in the busking?
Yeah, so I do circus art. So like it's a circus show. So busking, there's various like there's statue acts, there's musical act, and then there's walk by shows and also circus show. So circus show is when like you actually gather a circle of crowd. So that's why it's named circus show. Yeah, CIRCLE lah. And like when you gather a crowd, you do like a show. Sometimes it range from 5 minutes, sometimes it range to 30 minutes. it can even go into an hour based on how good you are as a performer lah. Then like at the end of the show, that's when you collect the gratuity. You don't collect money throughout the whole show.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you for that.
Anyone, just feel free to jump in, okay? Yeah. Don't have to wait for me to ask any questions. So yeah. So John, are you do you advise that we all should perhaps go and do Grab food now also?
Okay, so like then that's like I did discuss with a few people about demand and supply. So right now, like the news is saying like, oh, taxi drivers are going into deliveries also and all this, right? But like actually it doesn't sound like there's a surge in delivery. Actually, there's a bit of surge, but because now there's even more people coming into delivery, especially those who like just lost their jobs, those from the entertainment line coming into this. The jobs for delivery is actually going lower than usual. So like some riders in the GrabFood chat lah. So I'm in this community groups also in GrabFood. They are also making a lot of noise lah, saying like, wow, now so many people coming in, my order getting lesser and lesser. Cause like I think I saw some of them saying like, oh my god, we used to be able to do like 10 to 20 jobs, but now because of that, like I need to wait like 2 hours before like one job comes into a picture. Yeah, but that's for like the heartlands area lah. Like for me, like I used to do in the heartlands, I do in northeast, and like northeast tend to have like constant order lah. Maybe like I will wait for 1 hour, there will be at least one orders in an hour. Yeah, so like I still can do like my minimum for me is I need to hit 10 deliveries per day just to meet the incentive lah. But then like from what I found out like recently is like northeast is very, very hard to get orders. You have to stay online for at least 12 hours or 8 hours to get 10 orders. But then that's why I decided to head down to like downtown like Orchard Road area and do it lah. Which is the orders are still constant, but from what I heard from other delivery rider is it's also slowing down. So like yeah, I don't know what's happening lah.
Hey John, are you doing Grab by bike?
I'm doing it by e-bike, electric
okay.
bicycle. Yeah.
Cool. I'm just wondering. E-bikes are pretty cool, right? It's the one that you can ride a bit, then press the button, and then it goes.
There's no button. You just pedal, and like the throttle will suddenly start up. So if you stop
cool.
pedaling, then the throttle will stop. Yeah.
So I think everybody is sort of stunned, right? I'm very stunned. I'm really sorry to hear what you're going through. Because I come from the media side of things, and one of the things I've been discussing with theatre groups back in a long time ago was to explore presenting performances in a non-physical manner. But of course, I believe, and also I hear from a lot of practitioners that the experience cannot be replaced because it's better to watch it. And why I always ask for that, because I have scratchy throat. So every time I go to an air-conditioned dry place, then I start to, oh my god, midway through I would like, will start coughing, and then it happened once when I was younger and in orchestra, and I was like, everybody stare at you like they want to kill you. So I stopped going there, but I wanted to watch. But that's why I thought that I think where we are now is just like what we're doing. It is positive. And Substation, Tien just asked me to go down to see if I can help him set up properly so that people who perform there can sort of stream. So I hope this can be an option for you as well at some point soon.
Yep.
MarcS, what about you? What about you and your community?
Actually, it's basically, I think, parallel with everybody. The first wave was actually the event side lah. So the event side is the hardest hit, whereby there are this group of people, we call them like commercial dancers. So they survive like almost 100% on shows and gigs. So when the first wave hit, right, these people are like down to zero, and then some of them are like, like 0 to like I think 80%. So that's the usual kind of income that they have from gigs lah. So those were really hit hard, and then gradually, things got worse and worse. And then when it hit to the last stage where they banned all the more than 10 people and public gatherings and all, that's when the classes and the schools suffer. So the people who are teaching CCAs, people who are teaching at studios and freelance locations, they are all like now out of work. And then I mean, yeah, I feel like it's a whole spectrum lah. So like for some of us who do everything right, it's like you can see the decline. You know, at first like okay, 50% is down, then okay, you still got that remaining. Then after it's going down one by one, and now it's like I think kind of like empty for everybody. I think all studios have I mean 99% of studios I think have closed down and done either online streaming or something, but most of these are either very minimal or it's kind of free for now because nobody really knows how to navigate this space at this moment lah. So it's a lot of trial and error. So I would say as of now it's a struggle for everybody because I don't know, like if they have nothing else to do, the income is really not there lah. Yeah.
Sorry, could you just ask MarcS? Do you have a lot of like members of the public who actually go for your classes and all that? I mean, when you say schools, are you talking about like you go to schools to teach, or you there's a school for dance that people come and sign up for?
Okay, actually both. So like instructors do go to schools for their CCAs and assembly programs, etc., etc. And there's also the studio side where it's the biggest studios in Singapore that people go to, the public go to for classes. So it's both ways lah.
Okay, so okay, just for my own edification, right? For the schools that the public sign up with, right? So what's the demographics like? Is it a lot of like young adults? Do you have like older adults also signing up and all that?
Actually, it's a really wide spectrum. So like I would say, typically street dance classes are like 70% people are below 35 or so. Okay, we still have adults and all that, older folks coming in. But if you look at like social dance, like say salsa, like Lindy Hop and all that, they have also like older demographic, like more adults, more like late 20s and above. So actually, if you look at the whole dance industry, it's like the whole giant spectrum of people affected lah, in a sense. But different studios and different specialities have different demographics that are affected by whatever reasons lah, I guess.
Okay, thanks for that. Yeah. Anybody else? Renee, maybe?
I think her mic is on
You
mute.
have to unmute your mic, dear.
I think I have very similar experience with everyone. So at first, what was first affected was the shows. The production that I was rehearsing for was postponed. It's the first events that had then subsequently with the 25 people limit 250 250 then what is the next limit? 25, right? So subsequent classes are reduced. School had to, secondary schools, JC, primary school, they have to cancel CCA. So the second source of income is also cut off. Then, so I teach in NAFA, and we have to, so they are just trying to finish the semester. So they try to bring everything to online teaching. So then there's a scrambling to learn how to use all the online teaching platform, learn how to use Zoom, MS Team to teach. But of course, because theatre is a very, you need to meet person in face to face. So the other thing that was affected was I'm directing the grad show, and we cannot rehearse without meeting in person. So then some of the things I'm not sure how confidential it is, so I rather not share. But there were ideas thrown around, like let's do a Zoom performance, like some of the schools that are doing currently in UK, like Central. But it's, I think maybe at this point in time we are still still sort of fixated at how it should be done, or it has been for the past few months planned to be staged live. So to transfer it to a different platform, it really requires a lot of flexibility and creativity, and also compromise. Like certain artistic choices have to be compromised in order for things to go on. So I'm in 2 playback theatre groups, and we have all taken our practices online. And of course, the general sentiment is it's not the same when you meet online, you just sit down and talk about things. Especially for us, some of the performing arts, you need to be in person, you need to move the body. I think some of us are feeling it, not being able to move in the space, not being able to meet people. But I do see a strong resilience in some of the practitioners' practice right now. Like, so now we are moving into how do we do what we do online? What are the ways to adapt it? And I also see some of my friends offering online Skype mentoring. Like, if you need help with monologues or anything, I can help you. I can be your mentor, your third eye. So we are also, I mean, that's the beauty of art. With limitations, it means you have a different playground now. And how do we play with this new medium? How do we work around it? It definitely requires flexibility and compromise. But that it's a new territory that, if we look at the silver lining, it's something that we can explore. How do we use this medium to the best that we can in this current situation? Because life still needs to go on. We still need the human touch, even though it's virtual. And I guess we are all grateful that we can meet in the same time zone, in the same space virtually, and still trying to make things happen. So it's just holding on to things like that makes us continue do what we do, be it teaching online or practicing online. Yeah.
Thanks for that, Renee. Just to kind of like bring up the salient points of what you've shared. So I think there's a tremendous pressure for a lot of us to put ourselves online, to put ourselves virtually, and we don't really have enough space to think about the aesthetics of what we're going to do when we do online, how we're going to do it, how it kind of reflects back on the practice itself. And I've been reflecting this on I've seen Nicholas's videos on Facebook and all that, and I mean the quality is amazing. Okay, and I'm like, okay, if if this is going to be the baseline, the rest of us are going to die like frogs lah, because how to achieve that standard? Sorry, like Nicholas, I mean, like it's really good work. So but that's the thing, you see. And when we put ourselves in front, right? When we put ourselves on digitally, there's also a hidden pressure for us to have a certain quality in terms of the video output. And these are things that we don't really think about, or we had never had the space or opportunity to think about, right? And I can also commiserate on the pressure of putting things online. As I said, I'm currently still teaching in NTU, and some of the professors who have typewritten their theses are literally like wanting to commit suicide because they don't know how to do things. So so everybody's feeling the pressure, and we think that academia, these smart people, these smarty pants, will know what they're doing, right? No, they don't. So I'm not quite sure whether we should celebrate shared misery lah, but at least we don't feel so alone, right?
Yeah, but
yeah.
Thank you for this. I mean, it's very difficult for me to not reach a certain standard purely because that's my first vocation, right? I mean, everybody expects that as a starting point. It's still a lot of hit and miss, but actually I've intentionally tried to do it with the lowest cost possible. Which means if you come to see my studio, I hope you guys can at some point come to share your stories with me as well. you will be shocked because everybody who walks in is like, "Can I see your studio?" I say, "It's here." "Huh, where?" It's actually literally just by the door. It's my bar counter. Behind you, you see my fridge, right? So that's my pantry area. And it's just one camera in front, and then there's just 3 small lights. Each light's about like $80, which is the point of like what I'm trying to say is that I'm doing it in a way that I'm sure you can. Yeah, as long as you know how. So it's not rocket science, and I'm very happy to share this with you, just in case you can get rid of your Zoom anxieties, if you will. So I'm very happy to do that. Yeah, I've even spoken to a lot of brands and partners, and they say they're willing to come in to support the arts by making sure that it is affordable and even more affordable than it really is, just so that entertainment people who contribute to making the world a much brighter place can continue to do so. So yeah.
If you don't mind, if I offer a counterpoint to this,
Mm.
the materials you may use may be cheap, the equipment may be cheap, but what is the kind of hidden cost is the fact that you are a master of your craft.
Yes.
And this mastery is something that everybody needs to acknowledge. And we need to kind of take these things into consideration too. So when we want to build videos, we want to do archival and all that, right? We kind of need to put on the table that if we want to do this right, we need to engage the right specialists, the right artists, the right the right experts, and not dismiss it as, oh, this is going to be cheap, therefore we can do this cheaply. In some ways, my counterpoint is kind of cautioning everybody against this very neoliberal idea whereby IT, I want cheap, I want good.
Mm.
It's not going to do us, any of us, any favors. Like if we ourselves pursue this mentality, right? Eugene, you all right? Yeah. So how is it in wherever you are? Could you just share with us?
Yeah, the school has so I was into my second trimester when the school was shut down. Well, France was shut down, and so the school was shut down, and it's incredibly difficult to imagine physical theater being done online. So most of the teachers who are meeting are just can't come up with any ideas. Although we do have a night study class that's mostly movement research, and it's about we do have movement classes there as well, but they're thinking about shifting some of the materials online. So I guess we'll have to buy our own cardboard, buy our own clay, and create our own basically do the exercises online. But it's obviously not the same. But what's in there is that while we are taking some time off and resting at home, is that there are still all these things that we can do with our hands if we wanted to. Like cardboard is easy to come by, clay is easy to come by. If we wanted to work on a mask, we could. If we wanted to work on research of forms in the space, we could as well. So right now obviously I'm living off the MOH money in the hospital, so there's nothing much I can really do about it. But once I get home, there could be some things that right now what's happening on another front is that I'm involved in this Magnet Theatre community. Is an improv comedy theatre. They've shut down live, but then they've brought everything online. So short of having classes online, a lot of teams are performing online, and obviously they're asking for donations, and the donations go to either the community or, to fight COVID. But Zoom is enabling us to do a lot of things, and there are a lot of theater games that could be adapted online. It's obviously not the same thing, but it's interesting to see how this community develops and adapts to overcome. Like you said.
So not being facetious, but what is it like with living with COVID?
And well, so the first week was extremely difficult because I had all the symptoms, fever, cough, and I was one of the lucky 10% to get the lung infection. So COVID was in my lungs, and it took away most of my oxygen. I actually blacked out twice, and I was just sitting there. You know, when you black out, usually the blacking out clears, but it didn't clear, and so I was just sitting there and wondering, oh shit, what's next? You know, and it's quite crazy. Everything was. I don't want to say I was on death's door, but you know, I had dreams where it was just fucking a guide guiding through my memories of life, and I'm like, what the fuck. But yeah, that was last week, and what happened was that the trial drug hydroxychloroquine, it's an autoimmune booster, and it's really helped me pull me out of this situation. So after a week of hydroxychloroquine, I'm doing a lot better right now. I've got excess of energy, so it means that I'm healthier. I'm recovering. I'm bored, but it means I'm healthy and alive. So yeah.
Yeah, that is. Thank you so much for sharing that. Hey, and you know, I'm just thinking out loud also. If you know, if there's an only possibility for us to actually share this particular, you know, your own lived experience with COVID, you know, I think it provides a very powerful way of for everyone to make sense of COVID. You know, and is we you know, for many of us who are outside, we are you know, it's something very surreal, very distant, and you know, to have one of our own, you know, to share testament that this is my life experience, this is how it was. And I think it, you know, it allow us to have some form of semblance of sense lah, you know, to make it a little more familiar, I'm not saying that it's not scary, but it'll be less scary for us to actually hear this. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That-
Ragha, yeah, sorry, you're about to say, Eugene, sorry.
Yeah, just for that point, yeah, it's quite interesting to be able to get people's perspective from those who've lived COVID. So actually, from TJC, because I'm an alum of TJC, one of my friends is apparently trying to get a team together to write out stories of people. So it'll be interesting to see his initiative come to pass, and then maybe we'll be able to circulate those stories. And I'll definitely send it your way and to the Artscomm community so that people are you know, posted on this initiative.
Yeah, thank you so much for that. Ragha, would you like to share with us some of your experiences?
I think it's pretty much the same. So all of us our gigs got cancelled, and I think almost all my gigs till the end of the year is like, I don't know whether it will happen or not. and many years ago, I thought about this situation where you know, like, because there's so many artists coming on board in Singapore and stuff, so everybody will be writing grants and stuff. So I already like was on the path of determining like that my income will not depend on the government, just me. So I think on that side, maybe I already started the work because I didn't want to depend on the government to give me my job or to get my gigs or to support me. Not because I hate the government or anything. I actually love them. It's just because I know it's going to get very crowded. I don't want to compete with younger people who are coming into the art scene, or even like my own friends where they write their own grants and stuff. So basically, how I think about my music skill, or I always think about how can I get around it, like because our brains, we are artists not because we are really good at any skill or anything like that. We are artists because we are super creative people. Like we just know how to bring the income in, or so I just like use my creativity for income, and so that's how I make most of my money. So I was running a yoga studio. So our yoga studio, we voluntarily shut it down for the next 2 weeks. So we're running all the Zoom classes, and we're running it for free because we also like making a lot of like trial and error and figuring out how this is going to work for students, and so we are also sort of pivoting the business not to depend on the studio itself. So like but if we don't depend on the studio itself, so we probably can make it available to more people worldwide. So I think that is like forcing us to do this right now, because now the marketplace is bigger. And as for music side, I think most of my students already are on Zoom classes for flute, because I'm teaching at Temple of Fine Arts. So they are already like onto it. Like for the last 2 weeks, let's start preparing our kids and adults to know that we are going to go on Zoom classes while this situation is happening. And it's not the best way to teach music. The flute really sounds horrible on Zoom. Like everything's like it just doesn't come true at all. So it's very, 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 very tough. So yeah, so that's about that. And I really think that like we should not hold on to our ideals at this point. We should not hold on to our ideals as an artist. We should become a creative instead. Yeah, like even if it means that we need to switch our trade. I mean, that means I previously knew how to do marketing. Maybe now let me become a marketing assistant, or do a marketing thing or for another company, because a lot of companies need marketing help. Yeah, or use our creative ideas to, if we are a theatre practitioner, for example, you could go into you could go to businesses and ask, like direct their bosses and make them do videos and talk about their business, teach them how to create. Like we just have to give our skills out now. Like right now, the best thing to do at this time is not to ask anybody for anything, especially money. This is the worst thing to do right now. The best thing to do is to actually give. Because if we are asking for money, we are also contributing to the scarcity, which is not the best thing to do right now. That's what I'm thinking. I don't want to contribute to the scarcity where everybody's already like fighting for toilet rolls. I don't want to be the one also taking away their toilet rolls. I want to be the one like figuring out how I can get more toilet rolls for them. So it's that idea that I'm mostly thinking about. Or else and even for the government, like the government is also scrambling right now. Like and the German finance minister like committed suicide. He don't know what to do. I don't know. It's like very, very scary for them, because it's like an endless road. Like we don't know where we will stop. So I think for now the best is to give and give and give. Like instead of asking how the government is going to help us, I think we should like be out there now to help our country instead. Like very bigly. Like it does not matter where or what we do. Like maybe like I don't mind giving up being a flute player for a while also, like just to help out people in the best capacity. That's my stand on this. Yeah.
Thank you so much for your sharing. And I think this sense of purpose and determination is actually very powerful, and it kind of allows us to actually reflect on our own roles in the systems. And as someone who's who's a social scientist, I can understand that some systems actually perpetuate inequality, and for us to actually sometimes do certain things right, we may unknowingly become complicit in producing these differences amongst people. I'm just going to do a very quick sharing on my part, and I'm going to just share with you vignettes from my choir. So on Saturdays, we practice from 1 p.m. to 6 p.m. and we've been doing it religiously for the last 15 years or so. And we got through SARS. No, we didn't get through SARS, but we got through like H1N1, H6N6, and all that. But the thing that actually kind of make us really stop and reflect is because our demographic shifted. So we have a lot of older adults, and by older adults I mean 59 and above. And then suddenly we realized that amongst us we have vulnerable people. And so we have to sit down as a community and we said, okay, we need to deal with this very rationally too. We have a duty of care to maintain a safe space, and safe space includes physical well-being. So it was a hard decision for us to say, hey, okay, in January, I already asked them, we might need to relook this, and then they said, nope. What we're going to do is, if you are sick, you don't come. If you are from China, you don't come. If you are worried, you don't come. Then I was like, are you sure this is what you want? Then I mean, because I always advocate community consensus, so that's what they did. February came, and I was a little more alarmed, and I said, can we talk about this again? I said yes. We followed the same thing. Come March, then we sat down and we said, okay, let's take a step back. The thing that made them very sad was, they love the art making in itself, but what they are missing is a sense of community. And that was the thing that I didn't, it didn't foreground on our thoughts, but it was very important to especially the older adults. So what we did instead was, okay, let's tackle the idea of being online together. But for them, being online, doesn't really, they have issues with, how do I switch on the computer, so on and so forth. But what they appreciate most is, informally, what they've done is, it's a phone call every evening, and just say, hey, how are you? How's your daughter? How's your son? And all that. So, despite the, they used to use Saturdays for a hub of, of reaffirming the community, and now they're moving it to a sort of a virtual space, lah. So the whole purpose of my vignette is also to say that we are a practice. We practice our art, but the practice is also embedded in certain values. And for me at least, the values is actually community and community building. When we move digitally, what does it do to our communities? This is the big question that I've been asking myself, and I've been asking the choir members as also. We have no answers yet because we are still struggling with Zoom. We're still struggling with microphones, and then suddenly everybody try to sing. Everybody is like, got lag, and then suddenly it's like, wow, what is this? So okay. Wait, Nicholas, sorry. Do you want to, because you responded to what I said, but did you want to share some of your own findings, or you're okay? Some of your own experiences. Boss, your microphone not on. Still not on. Oh no. 3 words. First word.
Maybe that's a new online thing.
Oh yeah.
Maybe I just share a bit
Yeah.
about doing playback theatre online. It's a lot of issues with using Zoom, and there was one show. It started with this lady. She initiated doing so people from China would write their stories about living in a quarantine zone in Wuhan and other parts of China. So playback theatre is the audience will share their personal stories, and the actors will improvise and reenact them on the spot. So we thought we'll come together as a community, and we will listen to the stories of people in China. So it started from there. Then after that, subsequently, there were a lot of Zoom playback theatre performances. Then last I heard was one of the Zoom performance, the link was made online, and then it was Zoom bombed. In the middle of at the beginning of the show, the hackers bombed the performance with porno and some very hardcore porno going on. And they had to stop the performance twice and readjust the setting. So things like that, bringing, like Shah, what you mentioned, right? Bringing our medium online. There's so many things to consider. It's a whole new different playground altogether. And we are struggling with how do we still do it and have the sense of community so that we're not so alone in this period of time and still support each other. But then that's when you bring things online, you use medium that we are not familiar with. How do we navigate all that? It becomes another whole I don't know, the topic to talk about. I don't know whether it adds on to the stress and the tension in this current situation, but I mean, we have all been telling each other these are extraordinary times, so we just got to, go with the flow and manage whatever that we can manage. Yeah.
Okay.
Thanks, Renee. Nicholas, sorry. Hi, you're back.
Am I back? Can you hear
Yes.
me?
Yay.
Okay, great. Okay. Sorry, I think I went out and came in, and then it's just okay. So I have to go for another Zoom meeting. This is actually for a musician that's going to partner with a music company to produce a series of live streams. This is separate from what Audrey Lim and a few of them have started. They saw in the Straits Times, so that's one thing. Ragha, I would like to help you with a flute sound. I think I know you say because if it's not mic'd up properly, you only hear certain frequencies, right? And yeah, we connect separately. Then I try to help you solve your flute to get better sound for online. That's just But okay, a long story short, I won't talk about. I think it's getting very depressing. Everybody's sharing I will try to talk about good stuff. I mean, okay, long story short, the video business is shit. Everybody's scared to shoot, even though I tried to get that confirmation from IMDA that it's not cancelled because the 10 people gathering is work, but it was very grey on last Friday, so I was scrambling the whole day trying to make them come out with a proper announcement to say that it is work, so therefore it's not illegal, but observe safe distance measures. But there are some scenes that just cannot happen because some dramas are shooting saying that, oh, two people fighting, and then how to be 1 meter apart? You fight air, is it? Then I say, okay, then quarrel with the video chat. Oh, you just quarrel, like how it is. But so things have taken a step back. But I think February 9th, I got a message asking if someone can share my personal post, and I said, yeah, sure. Why? A lot of people are losing their jobs. 2 days after DOSCON Orange, the event site, photographers all gone. And we see like dominoes falling continuously. I said, okay, why don't we start a Facebook group and then just bring our friends in, and then we can just see what really is happening to have a sense. Because I know it's going to be severe. I already didn't attend my family Chinese New Year gathering because I was paranoid like that, right? And then my cousin said I'm crazy. It's so far away and nothing is happening here. I said, no, because we have old people and we don't want to have the risk. That was January 25th. I'm also particularly more aware because I have a branch office in Taiwan that was set up 1.5 years ago. Because we have to go back to Taiwan. I actually live in Taiwan for 3 weeks of every month, and then 1 week in Singapore. So I've been doing it for the last 1.5 years. And because it's so close, so I was just tracking to make sure it doesn't spill over and whatnot. But luckily, Taiwan and China are not very friendly. So there was not much Chinese people, mainland China people in Taiwan anyway. So instead, it came down here more harder because we are such a global hub, right? So the group grew and grew and grew. I mean, we have 5,000 plus people now, and I just wanted to start to collect stories who, and then hopefully we can paint a clearer picture. And I'm not sure if you guys are all in the group, but all the government agencies are in the group. Yeah. So in case you're wondering why, it's not because I'm speaking a certain politically correct way, but I feel that also it has never been a chance or in our industry collectively that there is an opportunity to gather together, if not for a big issue like COVID-19. And since we have the opportunity, do we want to use it to build the foundation as to how it will be post-COVID? So I'm in the same mindset as Ragha, and I feel that there are a lot of people who are very stressed up. Like yesterday, I had to defuse a bomb because somebody came in and she started talking about the whole SIRS thing cannot get some people cannot qualify, and then why do you penalize the middle class, the sandwich generation and whatnot? And everybody is messaging me, Nick, why do you ban her? You ban her, you ban her. And I was like, guys, relax. I mean, everybody has different ways of coping with stress, and this is a very stressful time. And if I just started banning and throwing people out from the very beginning, there will not be this kind of community, because community building is not something that we can use a textbook to apply upon, because every community is different. Like what Shah said, there are certain considerations based on what the community is, and we are so diverse. Can you imagine the kind of people in the group? The spectrum is ridiculous. Then Alvin is like, Nick, you're doing a good job. It's growing faster than Artscomm. That was when it was 1,000 plus. Then every day Alvin is like, he's like the biggest cheerleader. I really love Alvin. And I see this as building upon Alvin, Hing Lun, Audrey, all the many people, Jasmine from SAMP and all the different sectors, and try to make sense of who we are. And ultimately, we are attracting people coming in to want to help. Carousel just had a meeting with us. They're offering the platform to promote art or performances. We're trying to find a way, because they had a money collection mechanism, Carol Pay. That becomes very useful. People can pay donation or tickets. So we just had our first meeting. They're going to come on full swing. We're working on the details, and yeah, I can see everybody stressed about the video and the audio portion. Like I said, there are a lot of video audio people, and even a company who offering free equipment for you all to test out, to trial, to learn. And I don't think we will ever see another opportunity like this, where people have reasons to come together to chart a whole new world. And also, one of the biggest stories I want to share, the last thing if I have to go, is this LaSalle Arts Management BA student. She messaged me in private saying that she is very concerned because although she has a job waiting for her, going back to where she interned, most of her classmates do not have a job. So I said, oh, okay, are you guys getting any advice or mentorship or coaching? And they say they don't really have, I mean, apart from the regular stuff, because I think schools is trying to deal with what's going on right now. So I said, okay, why don't we arrange a session where I want to hear what you guys are thinking and how you're feeling. So that's been my approach in the tone. So I spoke to the lady, sorry, just to put that part about the lady yesterday, Josephine. I said, can I close the thread? No one is going to harm anybody. And I spoke to her for 1 hour, and she was appreciative. Like I said, I think everybody just wants to be heard. As artists, I think we should be more sensitive to that. So I applied that to the class, but of course the class was last week. And I listened to them, and I realized actually we are in a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity for them as arts managers to come and bring new ideas to traditional existing art forms. It might sound strange, but I think every art form that we have today that we are used to, or every art movement, if I may, everything started from realism. So I think we are really in a renaissance period, if you will, and I feel that like Ragha, I want to do something about this. So MCCY approached me, asked me what are the plans post-COVID. Do you want to make this official? I'm like, it's not for me to decide. I think everybody needs to want to make it better for everybody, and how we can be treated as a value add to the economy, if you want to speak in G's terms, collectively, and then they'll start taking us seriously. The fragmentation has caused us to be uncountable, insignificant. So I hope this is an opportunity for us to come together to be counted significantly and support each other's growth and development. So we come out of it like what PM said, like, springboard, and the competition is in the world. I love to see what we can do to bring ourselves up. I mean, there are bread and butter issues. I'm sure it's election year. They will not fail us too much. So Jonathan, don't be too worried. If anybody needs anything, shout out. I'm trying to create more jobs. I just met with NYC, and I told them, say, look at my survey. If you can commission work immediately, a lot of people can get money. So they are going to do that. So I'm working a lot behind the scenes. So there's a brief summary. So thank you so much for having me. I have to go for my next meeting. So all the best.
Thanks, Nicholas.
Thank you
Cheers.
so much,
Thank you.
Nicholas.
Okay,
Thank
so I'll
you.
leave first. Okay.
Sure, sure.
Okay. Bye
Yes,
bye.
thank you. Bye.
Bye bye.
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 Okay, so our next discussion, moving forward, are there any specific concrete plans that you have? And the other question related to that is, how can we as an arts community support one another? And how can we support you in your future plans? Jonathan, you want to start first? You can pass.
Yeah, pass.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Renee?
MarcS put up his hands, right? MarcS?
Okay, MarcS, you want to go?
MarcS?
Sure.
Yeah, actually,
Me.
the urge to high five, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Actually, building on what Nicholas was saying just now, what I feel like in this online space, right, and what we faced in the past, say, 1 week of trying to make things digital, is that I feel that it's more like a re-engineering the process and what we do, more than just trying to use the digital platform to go around what we are doing. For example, right, like let's say we have a dance choreography where you need like 6 people to stand next to each other and do a performance. So that's the traditional what will happen in class. And then like for us, when we go online, we are thinking of, okay, how do we get like 6-7 people at the same time to learn this choreography and do it for us to see? And then when we do it on Zoom or whatever, you can see it's like lagging or off sync, or there's so many issues. But then we realized that, hey, maybe we are trying to make the technology work for that process that was meant to be experienced live. So we were rethinking now, like, okay, so if we were to do online classes, what would that new experience be, and how do we modify the way the dance is being taught that works in an online channel? So it's more like, I think, creating an entirely new, in a way, new segue of your art form, in a sense. So like for dance, we are now trying to brainstorm more ideas on how can we do work that will be relevant online, and is so relevant there that it will not be relevant to put it into a physical space when things are okay. So it exists in 2 planes, where if things get better, we still have our traditional methods of doing things, as well as we have this new thing that is, it could be a entirely new industry per se, where it could be also the magic of being online is that you can collaborate with international people. You can have an international crowd that is so different from just like that physical space. And you know, we can exist in both worlds. So I think that would be a very nice way to take this current crisis and turn it into an entire new opportunity for artists to, you know, push their craft and more crazy stuff to happen.
Okay, MarcS, I'm going to expand your ideas a bit further, and I'm just going to share a couple of things, and this is coming from my own research background and all that. It is really unfortunate that at this point of time, there are no platforms that will allow synchronicity. That means if you have like 5 people doing it at the same time, right, at max 2 or 3 people will be in sync and everybody else will be out of sync. So, perhaps what we could do is turn this on its head. We have this compulsion to think that everything must be synchronous. What if we were to take a step back and plan things in terms of this asynchronousness, which means like, there's prep in terms of building videos for them to follow, and then there'll be a stage whereby they will have to do their own recordings and then send it back to you. And there'll be a point of time whereby you and your students will be, will have a live dialogue but not dancing, and the live dialogue to say that, okay, if you were to look at your video, can you change this, can you move this way, and all that, so on and so forth. So in some ways, the how should I put this? The irony and of using technology to teach, right? You got to break it down into even smaller steps. You got to break it down to more concrete, discrete sort of elements. And this is a pedagogical, andragogical sort of thing that, in retrospect, I kind of realized that this is the gap. What we could do is we could get education experts, people like myself and some other people to get together and say, okay, if you want to build an online lesson, this is what we need to do. We use Garnier's principles of learning, so on and so forth, and all that. We can build templates for you. We can make suggestions on, okay, this is how you build a module or a lesson and all that. So at the end of the day, it's like, you don't get frustrated with the technology that cannot do what you want to do, but the objective that you want is for your students to be able to do X, Y, or Z. So we kind of do the reverse learning. Yeah. MarcS?
Actually, I think that is what we're trying to do. But then I just realized that while doing that, we realized that the classes and the syllabus itself will have to change.
Definitely, yes.
Yeah, so that's why we feel that this change actually changing the shift of what people want to traditionally go for class for. So that's why we realized that it's actually changing the base learning itself rather than just the pedagogical tools. But I felt that it would change some of the way people or information that they would want, because some of these things were not like example, we do like one-to-one coaching for some of them, and then like is to do that one-to-one feedback for a class of say 20 people would take like about like half a day, whereas last time it would just take an hour or something. So we're trying to figure out how would this work. Would it be something like they would do a storage where everybody throws into a cloud, and then we take the whole week to kind of like dissect and explain, or so it's really like, wow, quite a headache now,
Yeah, and it's a lot of work, right?
Yeah. So we are trying to, is there a new way that we can structure classes so that they don't go into the expectation of last time where, okay, I'm going to attend this class right now and I'm going to get feedback right away, so maybe there's a way to manage like everything. So yeah, that's just
No, it's true. It's true. So when we kind of build the course material, so to speak, we also kind of turn back to our students and say these are the educational outcomes that you're expected, and this is how it's supposed to be. As opposed to everybody would kind of need to have a reorientation of their baseline expectation. Yeah.
Yeah.
So and you and I can have longer conversations about this offline, lah. I'm quite happy to support in that way as well. Yeah. Thanks for that.
Yeah,
anything
no
else?
problem.
Yeah. Jonathan, are you ready?
Yeah, I'm kind of ready, but like I just thought of something interesting when MarcS was talking about all this. So like, I don't know if you guys know about this app called TikTok.
Oh yes.
I think MarcS and like a few others know. So like TikTok
is the bane of dancing.
Yeah. So funnily enough, like a lot of problem, like you say, like there's no synchronization and all this. But if you look at TikTok, right, a lot of them learn the dance, right? They didn't learn it like through someone coming to them to learn it. They learn through that video. And then there's this thing called collab, where they kind of like put the video side by side. And then it becomes a synchronized thing and you can actually see everything happening. Some of them do like really funny things like, pass the bottle to the next video and then they just go on and on and on. It's a challenge lah. So I thought like, if we could like, base something off TikTok, like the way they do stuff, I got a feeling like class could be made more efficient. I don't know. It's just something that came into my mind when you were saying all this lah. Yeah. What do you think?
Yeah, I think like TikTok is an interesting way where it's like a digital platform that has technology that helps in the bridging of some of these ideas. So actually the technology is the one that helps to get people to do certain things, like that they have add-on games and apps like that. But I'm also thinking in a perspective of, let's say if I'm a salsa dancer and there's no context, so how do we do partner dance or how do we learn social dance, So I'm just thinking in the broader aspect of dance. For my form, I could do a one-to-all. Like I think Steezy is doing a very good job now. I always get ads from them on Instagram every day. And then it's so hard to find. Oh, that's one thing I want to say as well. Like the online space, right, is very challenging now because we are not just fighting a geographical kind of supply and demand now. We are actually fighting with the world. So like for the dance industry, like all the top tier dancers are on this platform called Steezy, and then you can pay $20 for a 1 month subscription, and you can access all these top tier instructors. So how do we offer a value that is better than that? So sooner or later there won't be any jobs if like that happens lah. I'm just thinking also.
True.
Yeah.
By the way,
sorry if I segue.
No. It's okay. Just a note also, the TikTok videos. Some of the TikTok videos are done by the phone, but a lot of the TikTok videos are actually very heavy and post production. So what you see is not what you get. Yeah. So Ragha, sorry, you looked as if you had something to share.
No, I thought Jonathan was quite a genius. Like we find if we can like create a learning platform that is mixed with TikTok. Like it's like nothing new, but it's like innovation, like in learning. So yeah, but then that means everybody's got to be really good at video editing now. And video making. That's like the new normal skill we need to have.
Yeah. And I mean, also, I'm not disparaging the idea, Jonathan. I think it is good for us to actually consider these platforms. I'm just also saying there are other considerations is that there are people who use TikTok as a platform for, as in they're professional TikTokers,
They are.
And they do it for, so they so and these are the things that actually kind of skewer the way in which we understand the app. So I think it's a good idea for us to explore further what are the capabilities and limitations of TikTok. And I think it's worth time. What I'm saying is it's worth our time to look at it. Yeah. Eugene, you any aspirations post recovery?
Mostly to eat fried chicken.
Okay, I think the
Oh my
community
God,
can
that was so
provide the
hard.
chicken. We can buy you nasi ayam and all that. But do you have any plans, projects, aspirations?
Yeah, I was intending to apply for a busking license, but according to what I hear from Jonathan, that busking is a little off right now. They are banning it, but I'm sure it'll start up in a couple of, I don't know, hopefully like a couple of months or so. We'll see what happens. I'm planning to make masks and to work with clay more, because I through my course I've discovered that I liked working with my hands, so that's something that's I mean, for physical theater is still a little interesting how to consider the idea of multiple bodies embodying an idea, and it's difficult to do that online, but I'm sure as a single body embodying ideas, I'd love to talk about masks, MarcS. I think as a body embodying ideas, there are a lot of things that the online platform could offer. I mean, the online world is extremely advanced. It's just us data practitioners are not on board with it, or even the educational system isn't on board with it. And Zoom is doing a lot of wonderful things, and everyone is doing conferences off of it. And there are all these professional troops that are putting dance performances on Zoom, and even the the New York Symphony, the Broadway, the Met, the Opera, they're all performing online. So there's no reason why we can't either. It's just whether or not we want to reach out and do it. And yeah, I think if we just need to catch up with all these systems and do it.
Okay, I'm just going to quickly respond to that also. You mentioned like Met Phil, LA Philharmonic, and all that. So the theater companies. So what they are showing you are actually finished products that they've done years before, and they've actually taken quite a substantial amount of time to actually produce these videos. So these videos are not done in the span of the coronavirus. These videos are videos in archival that they take out and they produce. So one of the things that, if I'm not mistaken, Akiko from Larietta, she raised this yesterday during our meeting, was if we were to produce videos, we must kind of like plan so that it has longevity beyond COVID-19, that we could still use it again and again, and we can use it in in a different context, which I think is a good way to kind of rethink our strategies. One of the things I want to suggest to you, and actually everybody also, is would you consider putting in time and energy and effort into the production of knowledge? Production of knowledge means we get together, we do an academic journal paper and all that. We ask NAC for funding for research, and there's actually funding for research that is to be done. And these are the things that I think especially in your practice, is good for this point to be a reflexive point, and for us to capture the sort of processes to move forward from COVID. And I think it's worth NAC's time for us to consolidate this production of knowledge. What do you think,
Shah,
Eugene?
I think it's a lot more worth everyone's time if we came together and did a performance on video rather than writing a paper about it. Because in that way it would be easier for best practices. And to answer your question, Philharmonic, they've gotten their people together and performed online during this COVID period. So it's not an excuse for us to say that they are taking video performances from old. These people are also out of jobs, and they are coming together to practice because they want to and because they can, and they are also posting those online as well. So I mean, I think I agree with you. I think that as artists, we should be informing NAC and finding best practices to how to do all this online. And so the best way to do it is to just do it rather than write a paper about it.
Well, I mean, the writing of paper is kind of the product that you give to NAC. What you get out in return is actually funding from NAC to do the paper. That's that's the thing that I'm saying. It also provides an kind of alternative source of income, so to speak, lah. I mean, but I understand what you're saying also. So I'm just sharing. Yeah.
I see what you're saying for the part, yeah.
Yeah. Zin?
Just want to add on a point about street basking. Last week I had a similar dialogue session with circus artists from around the region, Asia particular. So this circus practitioner from Australia, she said what the community actually reckon is that street performance will be the very first thing that will bounce back. Compared to events and shows, as pretty much events is going to kind of sit and wait to see how the situation is going to be like before they start getting involved in engaging performance and taking up projects for launches, etc. So street performing will actually be that very first line of artists to start making some bucks over there. So I think Eugene really can consider going for the audition once they have released the date, once the situation gets better. Yeah. Actually, everyone can go busk.
Yay. Renee, any thoughts?
I think you guys pretty much mentioned a lot of important points, like adapting the medium to best tell, to best deliver our art, or working with a new medium to tell our stories in different ways. I also feel like this would be a good time for us to also take a step back and revisit theories or pedagogy and have discussion on that, like or revisit things that are more theoretical, using the online platform to facilitate that, be it sharing of knowledge, and discussion. So that's one point that I want to bring up. And also, basically, because we are dealing with a lot of things that are unknown, and the medium is new to a lot of us. So I would just say we have to sometimes constantly remind ourselves and each other that we cannot expect things to function like how it would be, and to constantly adapt and be more patient and tolerant towards each other. So sometimes I could feel tension and frustration, like, hey, why are things like that, in some of my practices. So I just want to put it out there lah.
Okay. Is there anything? Is there anything that we at the Artscomm could do to support any of you at this point of time?
Fried chicken.
Are we allowed to deliver food to you?
No, unfortunately.
Because I've been doing some food runs for my friends who just came back from the UK and all that. So some of them were like, I want to
Don't worry, the wait is worth it. After that,
it will be so delicious. I tell you. Yeah. Yeah, I tell you what. I mean, we don't expect you to have an answer right now. If you have something to share and all that, maybe you can drop a note to Sin, and then Sin, sorry, Renee.
I just want to mention that some of the arts group, they are providing their space for free for individuals to go and do their practices. I think it's a good way to support each other. Also, I think for theatre, we can also explore things that are previously done and it has been forgotten, like radio plays and all that. We can still do things online. It's just perform online, but just differently. Just see it as a new tool that we can play and have fun with. Yeah.
Yes, Jonathan.
Okay, so like there's like a few stuff going through my mind. It might be a bit messy, but I think I'll share about like some strategy that I'm pushing forward for myself first lah. So like currently I'm doing GrabFood, but like there's stuff that I've been thinking about is like MarcS been talking about how top dancers are sharing their streams and everything, and like class may be hard because like the supply now is very high. So I had this thought a few weeks ago regarding this, where like I've seen a lot of behavior where people are going into live, going into Zoom. It's like there will be 100 people doing this whole thing the same way. So like I had this question to myself is how can I do it differently? Like for me, like there's this complaint where how can we do street performance, especially my kind of show is circus show. How can I create a show online but yet deliver the same like audience kind of engagement? And then after a few weeks of thinking while writing and delivering, I realized like a lot of us are trying to bring in the same experience and same way of doing things. That's when like I think a lot of us have been talking about this, and I realized like no, I can't do that. So like that's why I came about this TikTok idea also, where I realized I have to pre-record it. And at the same time, like if we think about it, like there's a lot of post-production work, but at the same time there are like videos that didn't do a lot of post-production, maybe just creating it just proper. But by doing that, like just making it proper, you can actually still engage the audience, but just in a different approach. And then it came to me in like, and then like there's more stuff that came into my mind, which is like augmented reality. So I think if we talk about Facebook and iPhone, like during the 2010-2009 period, where technology at that point of time was we are still all using the keypad phone, and like a lot of us were like, okay, touch screen is going to be like PDA and blah 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 blah. But because iPhone started pushing out more stuff, okay, is my connection okay? Seems like
no, the connection's good. The connection's good.
Okay. So like I realized like okay, AR has been growing like quite a bit. Like currently AR is getting cheaper and cheaper. Like the console right now is almost the same price as a PS5, PS4, if I remember correctly, like the cheap one lah. And I think if a lot of us start to think about it, I think there's a lot of things that augmented reality can do for the arts. I think a lot of us have been exploring, but because of this COVID, I think a lot more will be put into that. And if with more artists going into this, right, there'll be more ideas coming out, because like it's like the supply and demand idea. The more we try to go into that,
Jonathan, now you
yeah, and
frozen.
more will be improved lah.
Wait,
Yeah, I know. I
Jonathan,
realized.
wait, you froze just now.
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay, I'll repeat. I don't know why my connection a bit wonky suddenly. Okay, so it's alright now. I can see that. Okay, so like I'm looking at like how can we focus a bit on AR, because a lot of us are still jumping back to, oh, in the past, we are doing like, okay, like Renee has been talking about radio, nothing wrong with it, but I'm thinking like, how can we create something, forward, like AR, like how can we focus on that? Yeah, that's just my thought process lah. And like the last thing I'm talking about is how can Artscoms help. I believe like what I'm doing now is meeting a lot of independent artists on my own, just talking about what kind of collab can we do, and like these are the questions that I've been throwing out. Like, can we create something together while not going into the standard, like me performing in the street, but how can we go online about it, but not doing the same thing, but yet deliver a better experience? I don't know. That's just all my questions thrown lah.
Okay.
Yeah, that's all. Yeah.
Okay. One of the things before Zin, if you're interested, Alvin and TNS is actually looking at VR stuff and all that. If you want to have a chat with him, and he's very open to share. So if you can see what he's doing, and perhaps you can garner some ideas out of there. Would that would that be interesting to you?
Yeah, that'd be interesting.
Yeah. So I will connect you to Alvin lah. Yeah. Is it? Oh, okay. Can. Yeah. Yeah, we can all troop down and hey, hi Alvin, how are you?
Yeah, keep him busy. Just want to add on how it works with the social group, Circus group. Is I'm also thinking about how to keep everyone motivated. Technically speaking, we're supposed to have an upcoming production end of May with Esplanade at the flip side. But of course, Flipside is now cancelled. There is still a possible chance that we may still get to perform, but on a different platform. But of course, there's also equal chance that it's not going to happen. One of the key concerns is how should I manage the entire team's energy, especially when they have been working towards this for the last 6 months. So some of the ideas, some of the thoughts that came through this period is that while we are not meeting to train together and they are training on their own, they are also taking initiative to do body conditioning and workout together, but via maybe Zoom or any similar platform. As we discussed, I thought also that it has been quite a while that me and MarcS has been talking about how important it is for us to start to do cross-sharing before this entire COVID incident situation comes about. And I thought this is more for MarcS, but again, it's open to anyone, that perhaps we could do now, or this is like the best time to do now, that someone from the group end will come in and do a contact juggling lesson session, so maybe 5 sessions, and then maybe in exchange you do a popping sort of a short video of 5 sessions, and we throw the challenge out to people who's going to take part in this class in a way that they have to clock in a certain milestone after, say, 2 weeks of training. I'm not sure that there's a lot of possibility that we can play with, and how maybe from there we can even include other discipline involved. I'm not sure, just sort of tossing up idea. And the other thing is actually pretty much about Artscomm, which is what the session we have today. I was thinking about what can I do to give for the Artscommsg, and You can see that Shah is hosting the session. I'm actually pretty stressed. I cannot multitask. Keep forgetting to click enlarge whoever that's speaking, because since it's recording on my end. I don't
You're doing
know.
an awesome job, by the way. You're doing an awesome job. Yeah. Okay, sayang you.
Yeah. And I thought maybe even podcast, YouTube, I get all this set up for the Artscommsg. And I thought anyone from the arts community, if you feel like you want to have a chat session, whether it's pre-recorded or live, and then contribute to the Artscommsg YouTube, or even for possible podcasts, which we don't have to pay a single cent, it's all free. Just let me know, and let's see what we can work out. One of the ideas, maybe Renee Chua, we could start talking about is also to share some of the climate change and arts plan that's ongoing. It doesn't necessarily have to be COVID-19 related. It doesn't have to be completed projects, for example. Yeah, I think this is the most I've thought so far.
Yeah,
I'm
that's
done.
awesome. Yeah, Marcus?
Yeah, I got something to add on. Yeah, I think it's about the collaboration part. It'd be really cool. Let's say within Artscomm, there's an initiative to like put a bite-sized like a lesson from different art forms and put it together. So like say let's just say music and dance. So learning how to create a beat, maybe via like a beatbox or something like that. Cajon, yeah, cajon, right? A cajon, and then the dancer will then like use like how to interpret rhythm. So example, like a simple exercise like this, and then we put it to a short finished product that actually is a TikTok challenge where we can actually then also use that initiative to push for a wider audience lah. And then there can be also deeper sharings where it's not just bite-sized, where it's like for the artistic community to actually collaborate and grow. So maybe we can do two fronts, and I think that's how I think Artscomm can help each other.
Yeah, I think that's an awesome idea. Yeah. Anybody else wants to share before we end?
Stay safe, guys.
Okay, if there's nothing else, can we thanks in for arranging everything? Yeah, thank you, thanks in. Yeah, thank you.
Thank you so much for doing this.
And thanks everybody for coming and sharing also. And if you feel free to Zin has my number as well, so feel free to contact me if you have any concerns. And I look forward. If there's any way I can support you as well, as from a researcher perspective, let me know as well.
Yeah, thank you everyone. Thank you for your
Thank
time.
you.
And I'll edit the video with a musician contribution. Then I'll try to post it up by tonight.
Yes, thank you everybody.
Bye, everybody.
Eugene, get well soon.
Take care.
Thanks.
Eugene.
Get well soon.
Get well
Bye.
soon. Bye, everyone. Thank you.
Salam and hi everyone, my name is Syafiqah Adha, also known as Shah. I'm a musician-composer. First of all, I'd like to thank Scene for giving me this opportunity to present this performance video. I hope you like the music. It's an original composition called Lullaby for the Stars. And the reason why I chose this piece is because it's a bittersweet tune of hope and longing. So my message goes out to all of you who are artists, freelancers, arts practitioners who are affected by this COVID-19 situation, just like me. These are tough times that we're going through, but have faith, for these are just dark clouds passing through. We will definitely see brighter days ahead. Take comfort in knowing that you're not alone. We're all in this together, so let's help each other out to the best of our abilities. So if you like my music, please consider supporting me by subscribing to my YouTube channel. You can also follow me on Instagram and Facebook. Last but not least, stay safe, stay healthy, stay positive.